Well, I think, for our staff, this is really the first time we've seen our kids live play football. I mean, play a real game. So, there was some evaluations that we weren't able to do in practice that we were able to do in the games, and seeing kids in those kind of competitive situations. So, I think that really helped us, kind of evaluate a little bit and, maybe get some kids in some different situations and positions that maybe where they can have more success. So I think that was really valuable for us. And, I also think it's just good to get your staff together and get that first one, first game out of the way. We've got a lot of work to do, but, we did some good things too.
And I know this is a process. You don't change things overnight per se, but what do you tweak though week 1 to week 2 to continue to give these guys a chance to get a win at the end of the day?
Well, I told our kids after the game that, in my experience, the biggest improvements come between game 1 and 2 in the season. So, we didn't really tweak a lot to the scheme. It was just more getting back to focusing on the little things that we didn't do well in the game from a fundamental and technique standpoint. So we spent a lot of our week this week, Monday, Tuesday, just really trying to get over the hump and get more consistent with our fundamentals.
And given the weirdness of what happened last week, can you just kind of throw it out to an extent? I mean, I know you can't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it was hard for all those schools that had to come back the second day. I mean, there's a lot to to families having to change plans, and staffs that have coaches that have day jobs and trying to maneuver all those things and get kids back and get them up. I kind of felt like we were a little flat the second day, but a lot of that was to Byron Center's credit. They did a great job, and their kids responded the second day as well, and that's one of the things we got to get better at.
And then I know we look forward here, and East is a formidable opponent. A lot of seniors on that team, but what do you see out of them, and what's key for you guys to compete and hopefully come out with a win?
Well, they've got great tradition. Their kids expect to win. Obviously they've got some really, really good football players and senior-dominated teams. So, we're a younger team. We have 7 returning seniors from last year's team. So there's a challenge for us just in the experience category. But, at the end of the day, we're going to line up and we're going to go over there and we're going to give them a show. And so hopefully we can get off the bus and be physical is what we want to be, and we can execute better than we did last week. And if we can do those things, then I think we'll be competitive.
Is there anything, if you take away, you feel like you give yourself a better chance versus not?
Well, we had 2 turnovers, and we had a lot of, like we call them, self-inflicted wounds. We kind of shot ourselves in the foot and didn't execute with turnovers, penalties, and missed assignments, those kind of things. So, if we can just try to clean some of those up, we felt like we could have been a little bit more competitive with Byron, and obviously that's the goal this week with East.
And then 2 teams, both that coming off a loss. Do you anticipate it'll be 2 hungry sidelines?
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, it's a little bit of a rivalry. We're close communities, and the kids all know each other, and so I think there's certainly going to be a little bit more, of both sides trying to make sure they get a little more intensity for this game. But, like I said, East is a well-coached team. It's a great tradition, so we're going to go over there and we're going to see how we line up.
And then, I know you spent a lot of time in Greenville, correct? Mm-hmm. But is it nice to be home for you in the sense of all the things, your family being here and whatnot? I know, and there's a lot of season left here. I know.
No, I mean, it's nice to be, where my kids are at and where our family lives. Yeah, I mean, that's certainly, it makes it much easier on the family. It makes it a lot more convenient to be a lot more present for, my kids' events, which are right here on campus. So, that makes it so much nicer.
Okay, thanks, Coach. I appreciate you.